What's up, Internet? Back again for another update this week on the 240 and the aforementioned 180. A few other things going on also, but first off, let's get on to the 240. I would have to say, overall, I'm pretty impressed and happy with how this tank is coming along. The few issues that I've had here and there have been pretty easy to resolve. I know that a few people posted on last week's update about going to a hydroponics store to get replacement bulbs. I know this is an option, and you can find some stuff out there that that works from hydroponic stores. I don't highly recommend it. The hydroponic stores are carrying stuff for indoor growing of plants that are not going to be underwater. They're going to be, the light's not going to be filtered through water, which is one of the main issues with you know, running fish tanks, is that the light gets filtered through the water. So keep that in mind when you guys are out there selecting lights and stuff, that those guys don't have to take into account for you know, 20, 24, 28 inches of water, and that the light's going to be filtered through. Most of the issues that I was having with the plants growing, you know, you can see as we kind of pan around the tank and stuff, you can see some deficiencies here and there and whatnot. A lot of that has to do with you know, the light cycle and water changes and things, and you know, whatever mishmash of nonsense. But I'm not really into doing some technical you know, technical stuff this week about what's going on with the tank. I just think the overall aesthetic, things are growing pretty well the way that I like them to grow. The one main issue that I'm having right now is honestly setting up the 180 and figuring out which tank is going to be the low light tank and which tank is going to be the highlight tank. I am just torn right down the middle about whether or not I want to pull the Glosso out of this tank and replant it, which isn't a huge deal. It's not a huge deal. It's just laborious. It's just going to take time. And I'm sort of, to be honest, I'm not 50-50 anymore. I'm kind of 60-40 at this point about just pulling the Glosso out of this tank and you know, basically replanting the stuff that's in here to kind of do this as a low light, the low light as the 240, and do the 180 as a highlight tank. I just think things will work out a little bit better with light fixtures and certain crap that I got, you know, equipment that I got lying around and everything to do the 180 as the highlight tank. Got a bit of a time lapse, a part of the setup of the 180 coming up later in the video. If anybody wants to fast forward, you can do that, but you might miss some kind of gem or whatever. Anyhow, whatever. Back onto the 240. The shrimp colony is coming along really well. I'm really starting to get a lot of the good variant of crystal shrimp out of it that I was hoping for. And to be honest, I would have to say that, like, you know, in my opinion, with the bigger tank and with how things have been going with the bigger tank and the bigger colony and everything, I think I'm getting a lot better results versus running a bunch of small tanks. Now that I'm not running a bunch of small tanks anymore, I'm getting a lot better results out of the colony and seeing them breeding. Eventually, I am going to set up a couple of 20 gallons just off to the side so that I can sort of selectively start breeding a little bit. And I'm working out how to plumb that in my mind, how I want to plumb that into the system so that I can have them just off adjacent from the 240, but also running out of the same water column. It's not the most difficult thing in the world to set things up that way. I just want to get the equipment, get everything figured out before I even bother starting that project going along. You'll notice this week that I shot most of the stuff on the tank freehand. I didn't use a tripod this week. Just wanted, whatever, I just wanted to shoot freehand, you know, kind of go old school with it. And that's where we ended up. I definitely screwed up on some aperture stuff and some lighting and whatnot is a little bit effed up, for lack of a better way to put it. But otherwise, I'm pretty happy with what's going on. So let's move on to the 180. All right, we're onto the 180 now. This is a bit of a time lapse. It's just me working on some stuff, throwing in some of the plumbing, and getting things leveled out and figuring out what's going on. I believe in this time lapse I finished the overflow and part of the return. Got the sump in place. Got a few things done. I had a bunch of drilling to do and things like that. The reason why I shoot these time lapses is just to give people an idea of, like, realistically how long it takes to put all this crap together. It doesn't take 10 minutes. I wish it took 10 minutes sometimes, but it's a labor of love, I guess. So that's why I do it. But it's coming along pretty well, and it definitely gives you an idea of how the 240 is going to run right into the 180. And there's also the end cap of my lady's tank. As you can see there, she's getting it planted and things are coming along. Here's the overall layout of the room now, kind of how things are coming. It's a hot mess, but that's how projects are. And then here's from the back side, part of the overflow and the return and everything, and how things are drilled out. And then here is the sump, and we'll be doing a lot of overviews on all of the stuff that are coming along with this tank. And so stay tuned for all of that. Click all the buttons on your computer, the like and the subscribe and all that bullshit, and do what you like and have fun this weekend out there. It's supposed to be sunny. All right, later.